you to do is not enough for them. They need to know the reason why. So, in that sense, this process of self exploration is something different from just telling them what has to be done. It is a process by which we put forward some proposal. Proposal meaning it is not something that is fixed, that we are proposing from our side, and it is not something that they must believe in. It is not something that they have to agree to or disagree to. Proposal just means that we are putting forward an idea, and now it is up to them to verify it for themselves. Verify for themselves meaning they should be able to decide on their own right whether it is right for them or it is not right for them. And we can give them that leeway and say that we will say the proposal to you. You decide if it is right for you, you continue with it. If you feel it is not right for you, you leave it. So that is the idea of the proposal. So for instance, when we say, there is this idea that life is a struggle and this whole life is a survival of the fittest. Now, what we propose is that we all are related, we are interconnected, and we all have a relationship with one another. And on the basis of that, it is not really a struggle, but it is something that can be a very different outlook. So this is one proposal we might put forward to them and ask them to see for themselves. So if we ask them that you verify, how will they verify? Verify on the basis of their natural acceptance. That faculty in all of us, which is inherent and which is sort of there in everybody, regardless of time, place, person. So through that faculty, they can decide for themselves whether it is right for them or not right for them, through this faculty of natural acceptance. So we can ask them, do you wish to be related to nobody? Do you wish to be related to one person? Do you wish to be related to many people? Or would you rather be related to everyone? What would be naturally acceptable to you? So what would your answer be to that? Can we have any answers for this? I think
yes, madam.
Yes.
Yes, this will help.
Yes. So
definitely.
Now with this question, what would be our answer? Would we have the natural acceptance to be related to nobody, to one person, to many people, or to everyone? So something like this, we are putting forward this as a proposal. Now, it is up to them to verify on the basis of their own natural acceptance. So in this way, in this workshop or in this course, everything is put forward in the form of proposals. Nothing is a given. It is just that we are stating something. Now, each proposal that we put forward, the students will verify on their own right. So that is the idea, so that they can do this validation for themselves. One is to verify on the basis of their natural acceptance, and the other is to make to validate this through experience. So this experiential validation comes through our interaction with others. So first we verify on the basis of our natural acceptance, which is within us. Once we verify, now we want to experiment with that. So we want to experience how that works when we interact with others. So in our interaction with other human beings, we will check whether this proposal is causing happiness for me and for the others. That means, is it leading to mutual happiness in my interaction with other human beings? And similarly, we will also check if this proposal is um, leading to prosperity for me when I work with nature, and also is leading to prosperity for nature. So, in that sense, mutual prosperity. And then, if we find that this proposal is leading to mutual happiness in my interaction with other human beings, and it is leading to mutual prosperity when I work with nature, then this proposal is experientially validated for me also, besides being verified through natural acceptance. So, one is verification through natural acceptance, the second is experiential validation. And once both of these happen, and I find it is leading to mutual happiness and mutual prosperity, then I know for sure that this is right for me. And now this becomes my right understanding. This is my understanding. Now I know about it. Now, no matter what anybody may say, I don't assume something else because I know I have verified for myself. So, in this way, we have to verify all the proposals. This is how we would approach for the student. And we can ask them, is it naturally acceptable to you to verify for yourself, or is it naturally acceptable to you that we tell you something to do and give you a list of do's and don'ts? And whatever we have found so far, we find that students say they don't want do's and don'ts, they would like to verify for themselves. So that is the process, the way of going about it.
I would like to add, Sharmila ji, what the Mr. Manar has asked,
Ji.
how to convert these do's and don'ts to the natural acceptance. So, Manarji, I would like to put a simple example. Suppose some child is jumping from some height. So, what would be our reaction? We'll ask him, don't do that. And this is the natural, we'll say. So, this is not the way. Rather, if we say him, what will happen if you jump from there? You may get hurt. So, let him answer. What consequences will be there? So I think that is the better procedure. Otherwise, in natural way, our natural reaction is that don't do that. So I think that Sharmila ji want to take that thing, how to convey, how to communicate with other, so that it comes in the form of natural acceptance rather than do's and don'ts. That
Right.
what I could understand. Right?
Yes, very nice. This is very true. I think a lot of times, even, if we see from the time our children are small, as parents, we tend to say, don't do this, don't do that, rather than to say why. And they want to know, even when they are small, they want to know. Like, I can tell you so many examples where, as a pediatrician, when I come across, there are so many instances where I come across, the parents say that, when I talk to the children about what is the right thing to eat, what they should eat, what they should not eat, parents tell me, you tell the child, because they listen to you, they won't listen to us. So I said, why should that be? Because you are the mother. It is natural for the child to listen to the mother, not to an outsider. So why is that? Because as a mother, if we don't tell the child why it is important, and we just say, do this because I tell you to do it, that's not enough for the child. To begin with, they might obey, they might imitate, but at some point they want to verify for themselves. They want to know why. So if we tell them that, this is the effect of, supposing they want to eat junk food, they want to eat fried foods. Yes, it is tasty, but if we tell the child, no, this is causing these problems for your body, it leads to ill health, this is the issue, this is the problem it leads to, this is why it is better for you to eat that. And we can even leave that choice to the child. We don't do that. We jump to taking the decision for the child. But actually, we can leave this decision to the child also. We can tell them that, okay, these are the things regarding, what is good for your health, what is not. It is up to you to decide, what you want to eat. And more than 95% of the time, or close to 99% of the time, you will find that the child takes the right decision, because even small children are able to appreciate their
Very
natural.
true. Very true.
Yes.
Mm.
So, shall we start the topic then for today, Manisha ji?
Yes, Didi.
Yeah.
I think we'll extend a very, very warm welcome to all our friends and participants who, of course, join us for this particular follow up session of eSIP. And of course, since many of the students also join in for this particular, reunion and a get together and a discussion session, so, it becomes all the more very interesting because students have their own, queries and their own very experiential verification of so many proposals. They share it with us, and we all get enriched in this way. So, of course, a very, very warm welcome to everyone on this particular occasion. And of course, since in 2020, 2021, I think, Didi, this is our first meeting.
Yes.
So this is our first meeting. So definitely we'll wish everyone a very healthy, prosperous, and a very happy new year in the right way, so that we are able to, you know, im- get happiness in us with right understanding and understanding of what happiness is actually all about. And of course, we have Sharmila Di with us. Sharmila Di, as we all know, is not just one of our one of our very nice resource person. Apart from that, she is since she is I mean, a pediatrician by profession. So for that, the students who've just grown a little above that pediatric level probably, and most of them may be just into that phase visiting uh, their pediatricians very often, so they can put up as many queries as they would like to. That will be really nice. So a very warm welcome to all all the friends who are with us, the participants, the panelists alike. And of course, now I'll welcome Sharmila Di to take up the session forward, so that we can be enriched by her proposals and her explanations of understanding of the proposal.
Thank you so much, Manisha ji, for that very kind uh, introduction. Um, so we'll move forward with today. We were thinking about talking about love.
Yes.
Since this is a topic that there is some lot of misconceptions and lot of crowding of, lot of clouding of um, what exactly love is. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And I think, I would encourage all the students, if they have certain queries or questions regarding them, to please, as we speak also, at any time, at any point, if you have any question regarding this topic, to please raise your hand and we will pass you the mic, so that we can discuss whatever issues there may be. The whole idea of this session is for us to interact and to look at real life problems, real time problems, not just the theory. So that is the focus. And किसी को हिंदी में भी शेयर करना हो तो बेझिझक करें. अगर आप हिंदी में क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे तो मैं हिंदी में जवाब दूंगी, आप इंग्लिश में पूछेंगे तो मैं इंग्लिश में जवाब देने की कोशिश करूंगी. So we asked this question, and Manisha ji, I am I don't have the chat open with me. So at any point, if you
Yes,
feel
Didi.
there is something, in the chat or raised hands, if you can just let me know.
Yes, Didi. Certainly.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you. So we asked this question right now, that if you have to verify on the basis of your natural acceptance, whether you want to be related to nobody, that means not have anything to do with anyone, or you would like to be related to one person, or do you think you have the natural acceptance to be related to many or to everyone? So you ask yourself this question on the basis of your natural acceptance. Do you want to be related to none, to one, to many, or to everyone? What is the answer you get? And if you can reply in the chat.
Yes, Didi. Asmit is saying to everyone.
Nice.
And yes, and I'm waiting for more answers.
Yes.
Yes, Vasanti ma'am is saying, happy to hear Sharmila ma'am. And where is, of course, Arjun ji ko sab miss kar rahe hain, Didi.
I know. Actually, Arjun was tied up today. So if he is able to join for some time, he will join. If not, I am substituting for him today.
and and Dr. GM Krishnaya sir is saying to everyone, and Professor Manhar ji is also saying everyone, and Sachin, one of our student, is saying everyone, and
Nice.
of course it is. This is how we are getting a lot of everyone's.
Very nice. Very nice. Are we also looking at YouTube? Do we have any responses?
Didi, I'm able to be connected to chat, but YouTube
Okay.
I'll ask Parikshit Bhaiya maybe or somebody else to take
Yeah.
care of the YouTube. That will
Parikshit
be
Bhaiya,
fine.
if you can just follow.
Mamta Didi is also there. Maybe Mamta Didi.
Acha, okay.
Yeah, Didi, namaste.
Namaste.
Urvashi S. Roy ma'am is there also, and Sama Claire ma'am
Okay.
there,
Then
and
Revati
they are
ji is also
also
there.
saying that
Mangaldeep
everyone.
ji.
Yeah.
A very warm welcome to Mohit Bhaiya, Upasna Di, Rajni Di, Alok Bhaiya, Mamta Di, and everyone. Mangaldeep Di, Revati Di, Munshi Bhaiya. So maybe Revati Di, will you be able to take care of the YouTube, Didi?
And Namaste Didi, I am here, Mangaldeep. I am taking care of
Okay.
it.
Wonderful,
Nice.
Mangaldeep Di. Then in that
Yes.
case, anything on the YouTube, we'll let
Sure.
Sharmila Di know.
Even my students are also joined.
Oh,
Very
wonderful.
nice.
That's good. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. So that's
So,
good, Didi. We can move forward.
yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So we can see that many of us are able to see this, that our natural acceptance is to be related to everyone. When we say we don't have this feeling of being related to anyone, then you can see that that means that we are in opposition to all. So lot of times when we say this, that life is a struggle and it's struggle for survival of the fittest and so on, we may be having this assumption because this is what might have been put to us through society, through the media, through our education, or whatever may be the method. But if we look at our natural acceptance, this is not at all naturally acceptable to us. We don't want to be in opposition to everyone. We want to be related to everyone. So here itself, is something that we can verify from our natural acceptance. So this is something that is naturally acceptable to us, to be related to everyone. If we say that we are related to one, or we are related to few, or we are related to many, then we call it affection. Affection means that this feeling of being related to the other, or to accept the other as my relative. So that is the feeling of affection. And very often this is what is mistaken a lot of times for what is termed as love. And we'll come to what is love. So when we have this feeling of being related to all, then that is love. That is the complete value in relationship. If you remember, we talked about 9 feelings in relationship, and we started with trust, which is the foundation value of any relationship, without which the relationship cannot move forward. So this feeling of trust is mandatory for having any sort of relationship with anyone. And slowly we move forward with trust, respect, affection, and so on. And ultimately, we have this feeling of being related to all, and that is love. That is the complete value. So that is how we move forward. But today, a lot of times we find that there is some confusion regarding love, isn't it? I think a lot of misunderstandings are there with this term love. So we have to differentiate one thing. We have to differentiate this feeling of love from this what is actually excitement. Like this excitement may come from some sort of sensation. We have 5 senses. So anything that appeals to my senses, I like that, I get pleasure from that, and sometimes I confuse that for the feeling of love. The feeling is something that is within me, within the self. Sensation is something that I am getting through the body. So there is a very big difference. So excitement from sensation is something that is very different from the feeling of love within myself. Similarly, there can be preconditionings, some assumptions that we have. Like, for instance, we have this assumption, perhaps, through the movies, through the media, through ads, and so many things. We get this assumption that there is something called love at first sight. So the moment you set eyes on somebody, you so-called fall in love. Have you ever noticed nobody says stand up in love? It's always fall in love. Why is that? So you actually, is that really love? Is something that has to be explored by each one of us. We have to ask ourselves, is this the same as love, or is this something very different from love? So if we look at, within the self, within ourselves, in our imagination, so our thoughts are coming from 3 different sources. Our desires, our thoughts, they come from 3 different sources. And we find that majority of the times, this imagination, these desires, these thoughts are coming from preconditioning, some assumption. Like we just spoke of the assumption of this whole world being a survival of the fittest. So that is an assumption. We have not verified it. In our imagination, in our thoughts, in our feelings, in our desires, this assumption is sitting there that there is a struggle for survival. So now if I have this feeling, if I get this from outside that everything is struggle for survival, what kind of feeling will I have? If day in and day out, I am fed this information from outside that life is struggle, life is survival of the fittest, will I have a feeling of being related to the other person, or will I feel like I have to compete with the other person and I will be opposed to the other person? So this is something that we can all verify. So if I can have some responses in the chat, that if I am told that life is a struggle for survival and only the fittest can survive, will I have a feeling of being related to others, or will I have this feeling of being in competition, being in opposition to others? So what would it be? What would my feeling be when I hear this? If we can have some responses in the chat, it will be nice. The question is that if we hear this, if we are constantly being told that life is a struggle, am I likely to have a feeling of relationship with others, or am I likely to have feeling of opposition to others?
Professor Manar is saying feeling of opposition.
Yes.
And Yerama Reddy ji is saying, Reddy ji is saying opposition likely to have opposition. Professor
Yes.
SS Vidya. Then Rabindra ji is saying I'll have relations to all. Then Professor Punamalam ji is saying opposition. Then Miss Zareen Banu is saying, ma'am, assumptions karna right hai ya wrong. Savita ji is saying we would have feeling of competition or opposition to others.
Right, right. Nice. So we are able to see this. And for the question, किनका question था ये? Right है या wrong है?
ये Zarina Banu ji. She's
जी.
one of the student. Zarina.
Okay,
Zareen.
okay.
Zareen
Zareen.
Banu. Yeah.
ओके, तो जरीन आपके लिए मैं कहूँगी कि हम ये नहीं आपको बता रहे क्या राइट है क्या रॉन्ग है, ये तो हम सिर्फ आपके लिए एक प्रपोजल रख रहे हैं। आप चूज करिए, आप डिसाइड करिए। कैसे आप डिसाइड करेंगे? आपकी जो नेचुरल एक्सेप्टेंस है उसके थ्रू। ये जो नेचुरल एक्सेप्टेंस है ये फैकल्टी हम सबके अंदर है, आपके अंदर भी है। तो आप डिसाइड करेंगे कि जो भी कोई अजम्पशन है वो राइट है कि रॉन्ग है। कैसे डिसाइड करेंगे? क्योंकि अजम्पशन तो बाहर से आ रहा है। अगर हम उसको अपने लिए वेरीफाई कर सकते हैं तो फिर हम चूज कर सकते हैं, हम डिसाइड कर सकते हैं कि ये सही है या गलत है। लेकिन अगर हम उसको वेरीफाई ही नहीं करेंगे तो हमें कैसे पता चलेगा कि राइट है या रॉन्ग है? अगर मैं आपको कहती हूँ कि ये राइट है या ये रॉन्ग है तो आप उसको बिलीव कर लेंगे, तो वो भी एक और अजम्पशन हो जाएगा ना। तो आपको अज्यूम नहीं करना है, आपको अपने लिए डिसाइड करना है। तो आप अपने लिए कैसे डिसाइड करोगे? अगर मैंने ही आपको फिर से बोल दिया कि यही राइट है तो ये तो फिर एक और अजम्पशन हो गया ना। तो आप अपने लिए डिसाइड करो, आप अपने लिए अपने नेचुरल एक्सेप्टेंस से पूछो, अपनी जो इनर वॉइस है उसको कंसल्ट करो कि आपको क्या लगता है कि जो भी कोई अजम्पशन हो, सपोजिंग ये अजम्पशन है जो अभी हमने बात करी, सर्वाइवल ऑफ द फिटेस्ट, तो आपको क्या नेचुरली एक्सेप्टेबल है? आपको ये नेचुरली एक्सेप्टेबल है कि सबके लिए फीलिंग ऑफ ऑपोजिशन हो, या ये नेचुरली एक्सेप्टेबल है कि सबके लिए फीलिंग ऑफ रिलेशनशिप हो? अगर आप जवाब देंगे तो इट विल बी गुड, ताकि हम
Yes, Didi. Even one of the student, Harshan Srinath, is saying sometimes opposition, sometimes attachment. It depends on behavior according to me.
हाँ. So one is how we are actually interacting, and the other is what is naturally acceptable to us. There is a difference between what I am and what I really want to be. So what I really want to be is my natural acceptance. So you can ask yourself this question: what is naturally acceptable to me? What do I really want? Do I want to be related to everyone? I may or may not be able to relate to everyone at this time today, but given the choice, if I could, would I want to be related to everyone or not? That is my natural acceptance. That is something that I can ask my natural acceptance and get the answer for myself. And we are all seeing that our natural acceptance is to have this feeling of relationship for all. Our competence, our ability to have this all the time is missing sometimes. But what is naturally acceptable to us is to have this feeling for all. So this is what we are saying. But I would leave it to everybody to verify for themselves. So this is, our desires, our imagination, our thoughts are coming from preconditioning a large part of the time. Another source of our desires or thoughts is the sensation part. Whatever comes to me through my five senses, whatever I hear, whatever I see, whatever I taste, whatever I touch, and so on. And then a small part of our imagination, our desires, our thoughts, also come through our natural acceptance. It is for us to verify everything that comes, whether it is coming through preconditioning, sensation, wherever. Verify through the natural acceptance and try to have all our desires coming from natural acceptance. Because when our desires, our thoughts are in line with our natural acceptance, that is what leads to harmony within us. And that is what is happiness. So, if you remember, in the beginning, we talked of our basic aspiration being happiness and prosperity in continuity. Now we keep saying, Happy New Year. Wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Have a prosperous New Year. So, what is this happiness and prosperity? So, we are happy, we are in harmony when our desires, our thoughts are in line with our natural acceptance. So, this is what we are saying. You can also verify it and you can experientially validate it. You can see when the thoughts are in line with the natural acceptance, are you feeling comfortable inside or uncomfortable inside? When they are not in line with natural acceptance, are you comfortable inside? Are you uncomfortable inside? This is something that we have to put the test to ourselves every moment because we want happiness every moment. So, our
Yes, Didi,
yes,
from the YouTube, there
yeah,
is a question. Shall I read it out to it?
definitely.
Ritu Thakurji from YouTube is saying, "Hello, ma'am. I
Hello.
have a question.
Yes.
Means today's youths are easily involving in affection. They thought that I love after getting connected to them. With their affection, they easily got that they don't have. Well,
I
and then
didn't understand the question.
yes, the question, the language is a little. She continues.
Manisha ji, yeah. It is given below also.
Yes, it says feeling of them. Then how we are able to find the right point which clear out thoughts means it may be affection or love,
Yeah.
because in reality we didn't go through these graphs or pie charts. Well,
Yes.
probably she says that since we haven't gone through the content, so we
Yeah.
really do not know what really love is,
Yeah.
and accordingly we get misled.
Yes. Yes. So the main question, as I understand, is what is the difference between affection and love? Yes.
Yes,
Yeah. So we
yes,
are coming to that. We are just coming to that. We said that affection is when we have this feeling of being related to few people. One, two, three, four, five, many people, but not to all. Love is when we have this feeling of being related to all. So when I say, I love so and so, or I love my mother, I love my father, I love my spouse, I love my friend. So this is, I am selectively choosing to have this feeling of being related to one person, two people, three people, four people, five people in my life. But I have not seen my relationship with everyone. Love is that feeling of being related to all, and not just to human beings, to animals, to flowers, to trees, to birds, to everything in the nature, everything in my surrounding. When I have this feeling of being related to all human beings and to everything around, that would be termed as love. I hope that clarifies. But we will take some examples as we go, and that might help
yes, Didi,
also.
and Gursimranpreet Kaur from YouTube is also asking how can we verify our assumptions, as it will be according to natural acceptance, but it will be just depending on imagination. So how we will get to know that
Yeah,
whether whether it is assumption, whether the assumption is right or wrong.
yeah. So let me just clarify what exactly is imagination. Okay. So
Right, Didi.
when we are saying imagination, if we try to sort of visualize, if we try to see, always there is some thought. We may be able to see it, we may not be able to see it, but some thoughts are going on within us all the time, all the time. And we are not able to pinpoint or identify a lot of times because we are mostly driven by things outside. We are busy looking outside, so we are busy with the outside world. We don't pay attention to what is going on within us. But if we pay a little bit of attention to within ourselves, we will find that we have thoughts going on in us all the time, and these might be easy for us to pick up. It's not just the thoughts. There are some desires, some feelings deeper to the thoughts which are actually leading to these thoughts. So slowly, as we start looking at our imagination, as we start sort of looking within, we'll be able to see that there are these thoughts. Deeper to that, there are some desires or feelings which are actually leading to these thoughts. And based on these thoughts, we have some expectation from the outside world. So these three things, the desire, the thoughts, and the expectations that are continuously going on within us, this is what we are calling imagination. Now, this imagination can be influenced by three sources. Our imagination may come or may be influenced by some assumption from outside. For instance, if I give this example that I am, say, sitting in my house, and I am maybe thinking about a friend or thinking about what work I have to do in the house or something, and the TV is on, and I'm looking at the TV, and I see this ad for a very big car and a very smart person sitting in the car, and this car comes into a driveway and opens. There is a sort of a waiter in a big place who comes and, or like some person waiting, who opens the door of the car, and this smart person comes out, and there is a crowd of people waving and trying to get a look at this smart person, well-dressed person who comes out of the car. Now here I start looking and I think, oh, big car means lot of respect. So now I start thinking about, it would be nice to have a car like that. And somewhere at the back of my mind, that thing is there, that if I buy a car like this, then I will be looked at as someone smart, somebody who is well respected, and there will be a lot of people looking up to me. Now, I may not be aware of it, but this might be a feeling in the back of my mind. Now here, there is this preconditioning. My imagination, my desires, my thoughts, they are being driven by this ad from outside. This was not my desire. Now it has become my desire. Why? Because I have this preconditioning that sitting in this car, in this big car, is going to give me respect, is going to give me attention from outside. So now my imagination is being guided by my preconditioning, my assumption. But have I verified this assumption through my natural acceptance? If I verify this assumption through my natural acceptance, I may find that it is what is naturally acceptable to me. I can ask myself this question. No? As I go further, you may have been introduced to that topic about respect and so many things, that we'll be able to see that respect is right evaluation of myself, first of all. And it doesn't have much to do with a big car or a big house or anything like that. These are physical objects that may be required to help me in my life, in my day-to-day living. And a small car may suffice, sometimes a two-wheeler may suffice, doesn't have to be a big car. And respect doesn't have much to do with this big car. So when I run it through my natural acceptance, I will be able to verify this and see. Similarly, supposing this ad that I was seeing for the car, now instead of what I just told you, you see an ad for a car which has a very bright, nice metallic sheen, very nice color that appeals to me. So I like the look of this car. It looks very snazzy, very sharp, very good looking. The shape of the car is very nice. The color, the metallic color of the car is very nice. It appeals to me. So here, and then I start thinking about acquiring this car, buying this car. So now here, my imagination is being driven by the sensation of seeing, visualizing or seeing this car in the ad and liking what it looks like. So here my imagination is being driven by sensation. But natural acceptance would be, supposing I see a car, whether it is big car or very bright looking car or something, but I ask myself, what do I need a car for? If it is to commute from one place to another, if that is the purpose of the car, then does it really have to be so big? Does it have to be so shiny? Does it have to be so expensive? Or is it okay to use something that fits my budget, that is comfortably, that I can purchase, that will be useful for me, and depending on the size of my family, according to what I need, I start thinking of the car. Now that would be something that is naturally acceptable to me. So these are three areas from which the imagination gets motivated, so to speak. So I hope that is somewhat clarifying what this chart is about. Who had asked this question? Perhaps if they could reply, it would be good, whether it clarifies this or not.
Yes, Gursimran
Yes,
ji.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Gursimran Preet Kaur, even
On
she
YouTube,
replied on
yes.
YouTube that,
Yeah.
okay, ma'am, then these all things together work together, my desire, expectation, and thought process combinedly. So this is a
Yes.
response from Gursimran Preet Kaur after your
Okay.
Yes, yes,
Thank
I
you.
could see that. And Didi, Rabindra ji is saying that with the feeling of love, how can I relate that militants or terrorists are related to me?
Yes.
Rabindra Kumar Raut sir is saying.
Yes. So what I would say is that right now what happens is we can't see this connection at all. But let us bring it down to our own family. Supposing as a parent you have a small child. Now that small child does something wrong. He hits somebody else or something. That is something that is doing wrong, perhaps because he doesn't understand the right thing to do. So what would the parent feel? I'm not related to the child, or I am related to the child, but the child doesn't have the right understanding. So maybe I can help them get better understanding. So once I have the child get better understanding, then the child will be able to see right from wrong. So similarly, supposing there is an adult who has lot of assumptions, who may have had whatever background, we don't know what everybody's background is, what kind of hardships they may have come through, what kind of teachings they may have had. So everybody may have very different, diverse backgrounds. So supposing for whatever reason, this adult, this terrorist, has some, does not have the right understanding, has some assumptions which have led to certain beliefs, and these beliefs are making that person do things which he thinks are right. I can see that they are not right, but he is not able to see right now that they are not right. He believes he is doing the right thing. Now, I still have some sort of relationship to the other person on the basis of the self. If you look at the level of the self, we are all similar. Similar in the sense we all have desires, thoughts, expectations going on continuously. At the level of the self, our needs are the same. We all want happiness and prosperity. It is just that I may have better understanding that what can give me happiness and prosperity. This other person doesn't have that right understanding. He is misguided. He thinks something else will give him happiness and prosperity. And based on that, he is acting a certain way. Does that mean I am not related to him at all? I have no connection? Or does it just mean that I don't see that connection because of the behavior that he is behaving outside? And this behavior is because his imagination is being guided by some assumption. It is not being guided by natural acceptance. Now, whether I can do something for it today or not is a different issue. I may not be able to help that person change, or it may not be in my capacity to do anything for that person. But all we are saying is, can we have the right feeling towards them? Can we have this feeling of being related to everybody? Even if I don't do anything for the person, at least can I have the right feeling within me for everyone? And if I have the right feeling, then I will not find the person wrong. I will be able to see that the person is okay, just doesn't have the right understanding for whatever reason. So that would be how I would answer that.
Yes, Didi. And in fact, Guru Simran Preet has written, okay, ma'am, then these all these things work together, like my desire, expectation, and thought process combinedly.
Yes.
So she has been listening to you, and
Nice.
accordingly, she's put it in the, in her chat on the YouTube, and of course, she's taking it in a serious and right way. That's good. And in fact, Professor Rabindraji, as question, I'm sure has been, yes, has been answered. So he's simply writing, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank
That's
you.
good. That's
Yeah.
good. So we'll have more of an interaction, definitely. And Didi, I think probably we love if someone can raise their hand and communicate directly.
Yes.
That'll
Yes.
that'll be more lively, of
True.
course.
True.
But like the way the more and more we have been on web and all that, so probably we've become in a habit of writing on chat than communicating to each other.
Yes. True. Yeah. So we'll move ahead. So one of the preconditionings related to love, a common misunderstanding related to love, is confusing this excitement from sensation as being love. So, like we mentioned, sensation is something that I experience through any of my 5 senses. So, it's about getting, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get this sensation from another human being, either by touching that person or whatever. So, this getting the sensation from the other, that is actually lust. That I am trying to get pleasure from the body of another human being. This is not love. What we are saying love is having this feeling within myself of being related to everyone else. So the feeling is within myself, and with this feeling, if I feel related to the other person, will I try to take from the other person or will I try to give to the other person? What do you think? Can we have some answers, some responses to this? If if I feel related to another person, will I try to take from the other person or will I try to give to the other person? What do you think? Do we have any responses?
Yes, we are waiting for the responses, of course. Uh, yes, Ravindra sir is saying to give to the other person.
Nice.
And of course, Professor uh, Yarama Reddy ji is also saying to give to the other person. Then Miss Mudita, uh, it's both actually.
Mm-hmm.
So Miss Mudita Dikshit is saying it's both actually. Ideally, it should be to give, but in reality, it is both.
True.
Then Zareen is saying to give to the other person. Then Harshan Srinath is saying we give him or her what we feel by saying what we feel for others. Like accordingly we do, however we feel, whether we would like to give or take. I mean, not. Then Vaishali is saying give and take. And then Vasanti ji is saying it's mutual. And Dr. Rajiv Garg sir saying forgiveness.
Okay, nice. So, here what we are saying is that if we have this feeling of being related to all, then we will want to give. Like how a mother unconditionally feels related to the child, has affection for her child, she will be giving. But if we don't have this feeling of being related, then we may not be giving. Then we may be looking at taking. So, excitement from sensation is about lust, about getting pleasure from the other. But love is giving to the other. It is not about taking at all. And if we look at sensation, is continuity from this possible? If I have to depend on this sensation from another human being for my happiness, can I ensure continuity of this happiness? Yes or no? Can we have some responses? So
And
if
we
I
see,
am, yeah.
yes, I'm seeing it on the YouTube as well. So
Mhm.
Gursimran has very rightly said that, ma'am, we'll try to give to the other person. And
Right,
Priya CVG is saying try to give to the other person.
right.
And Tamil Selvi SG is saying give to the other person. Then Manjunath ji is saying if we give, then it is love. That's so good.
Nice,
And
nice.
accordingly, Professor, in fact, uh, many of them agree that we will love to, we'll be giving to the other person. That's
Nice,
so good. And
nice.
at the chat at our end, I'm seeing that one of our student is Harshan Srinath is saying we can show love by solving problems of other persons whom we love according to me.
Nice. Very nice.
And Mr. Obu Ramesh ji saying love is one direction, that is mother to child. I accept it. And Miss Mudita is saying, I feel when we give to animals or nature, we like to only give.
Mhm. True. Very nice. So we are able to see our natural acceptance for giving when we have this feeling of being related. Now, the next question that I was asking just a minute ago, that if I am going by sensation for ensuring my happiness, because we said my basic aspiration is to have happiness and continuity. Now, in order to ensure this happiness for myself every moment, if I am depending on getting this sensation from the other human being, is it possible to maintain the continuity of my happiness through this, through getting sensation from another human being? So, is it possible to have continuity of happiness through getting sensation from another human being? Yes or no?
So
What are the
the
responses?
Vasanti ji is saying that giving happens only if we are happy. And
Mhm.
Dr. Rajiv ji is saying no continuity of happiness if depends on sensation.
Nice.
And Professor S.S. Vidya ji is saying continuity not possible through sensation.
Right.
So that's
Right.
so right, Didi.
Yes.
Of course.
So, yeah.
And Rabindra ji is saying not possible to have continuity with sensation.
Yes. So we can see that, if we are getting this excitement from sensation, for some time it may be pleasurable, but we will not be continuing it all the time, and it's not possible also. It is not dependent on me, it is dependent on another human being. So I am not self organized, I am not free to make my own choice, I am depending on somebody else, and continuity is not possible. Similarly, if we look at some of the preconditionings about love through all the media, through the songs, through the movies, and so on. So there is talk of, love at first sight. So as soon as a person lays eyes on another person, the person falls in love, is what the idea is. So is this love, or is this some sort of infatuation, some sort of preoccupation? So that is something that we have to ask ourselves. So we already said what love is. So on that basis, you can decide for yourself, is this really love? Love at first sight, what they say. Is it really love? So many times we hear of people who supposedly fall in love, they get so um, mesmerized by each other, they are willing to fight against the whole world to get married. And they get married, they come together, and within a few years, they start having fights. So, is this really love? If it was love at first sight, how come now it has changed? So,
Yes,
here,
Didi,
yeah,
we are receiving plenty of responses. And
uh,
Professor S.S. Vidya ji is saying that it is infatuation.
yeah,
And one of our students, that's so good, Harshan Shrineth, he's saying lack of knowledge causes sensation.
mm-hmm,
That's all right. And
nice.
he also says that it is impossible to get happiness from sensation because people don't have time to waste. People have many more things to do, like career, travel, etc.
Nice. Uh, yeah. So, this is also something that we can see that here continuity is not possible, because this is not love. This is not a feeling that I am ensuring within myself. I am basing it on something that I saw or some assumption I have. But when I have the right understanding, which is based on my natural acceptance, then I find that love is actually a feeling. And this feeling is within myself. This feeling of being related to all. And when I feel related to all, I feel responsible towards all. So I will think of giving to all, not taking from others. And here, I can explore and see whether continuity is possible or not. Can I have continuity of this or not? That is something we can all explore and see if it can be made true for us. Because here there is a possibility of continuity. My feeling within myself is something that I have total right over. Somebody from outside can hit me on the body, they can maybe cause physical hurt, but inside, the feeling that I have, that is my property. I have the capacity to choose the feeling that I have, regardless of what is happening outside. This is something that we are proposing, and if you think otherwise, you can sort of let us know. let us know and we can discuss the issue. By the way, I'm not able to see the time. Do we have sufficient time?
Didi, we have hardly 4 minutes for 8:30 to be, and
Oh, okay.
I'll just read a few things from the chat.
Yeah.
Miss Mudita Dikshit ji is saying, love is, of course, a very strong feeling. And Miss Vasanti ji is saying, ma'am, just for exploration, the fight after marriage may also be a process of understanding each other in a different way. Instead of hiding their feelings, they propose to each other.
Yeah. So let us talk about this little bit, and then we can always continue this topic next time, because I think it is something of a lot of importance.
Yes.
So it's true that we may not have the right understanding, and two people may come together thinking that they have love at first sight. But then if things are going wrong in the marriage, is it because they are trying to understand each other, or is it because they don't have the right understanding, so they don't know how to fulfill the relationship from both sides? This is something that we have to try to explore. So are the fights happening because they want to fight? Obviously not. They don't want to fight, but they are fighting. So if they really understood relationship, would they fight, or would they be able to discuss and see the differences, or come to terms with the differences and still have this feeling of being related to each other? So that is something, that question we can think about until next time, and we can continue this topic, and we can bring up this question again if needed, to have more clarity, since we are running short on time today. But this is something that I think is important for everybody to explore.
Yes,
So
Didi. And you
yeah.
know, one of our very active student, Harshan Srinath, is saying, ma'am, love at first sight comes due to trend also sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So, you
Yeah.
know, the younger generation as feels, you know, uh, it is trendy or in vogue to be in a format of love at first sight. This is what the child is saying.
Yes.
That, and beta, this again, Didi, of course, definitely this is nothing but a sensation or preconditioning
True.
that
It's
is governed by the ambience around. So that is not a true way of looking into it.
yes. And just because it is the trend and everybody is doing it, all the more important that I must verify through my natural acceptance and see, is it the right thing for me or not?
Very right.
Yeah.
So definitely, of course, love of oneself with other can be possible from long distance. So if, of course, distance is immaterial, where because love is a feeling embedded within us. So distance has no say into it, as I feel. Yes, Didi.
Yes.
And
True.
yes, so I think, Didi, it is something that has triggered a lot of self-exploration, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
exploration amongst so many of our students and friends, faculty members along who are present in this meeting. So, Didi, it's already 8:30.
Yeah.
So, as per your permission, shall we say namaste today so that we can discuss the same in detail next Wednesday as well? Is
Yes.
it?
So I think that is something that is important for everybody to think about. And next time, till next week, when we meet again, I think if all of us can sort of think about this issue of love and do some self exploration about, you know, what we have discussed today, And any thoughts that come up or any queries that come up, if we can jot them down and bring them up next week, that would be good. Because
Yes,
one person's question can help a lot of other people also.
very right, Didi. And Mohammad Jigar Ali ji is saying the same. Thank you, madam, for your nice and valuable lecture and explanation. So that has helped so many of our friends in this follow-up session to
Yeah.
take it in the right spirit and explore it accordingly. That's so good.
Yes.
Yes,
So we'll call it a day then.
yes. We'll
Say
call it a day.
namaste.
Namaste.
Everybody.
And of course,
Namaste.
of course, Friday we have a session on health. So, of course, we'll be meeting again on Friday with Dr. Sundaraj Perumal ji with us, Sushila Murthy ji with us to discuss. And of course, Didi, you'll also be there if I can.
I haven't been able to join in those meetings so far, but I'll
Yes,
see if I can
that
make
will be
it. Yes.
fine, Didi, as per of course availability and mm,
Yeah.
meeting
Yes.
again on Friday to discuss on health and Ayurvedic, way of the right way of taking care of our body and, of course, the self-regulation, as we call it. Till then, of course, namaste and have
Yes. Holistic health is on Friday.
yes,
Yes.
yes, holistic
Yes.
health is on Friday.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Namaste,
Namaste,
everybody.
everybody.
Namaste.